Today we're going to go on a mushroom hunt. We're going to look for morel mushrooms. They only come up in the spring, and there's only one type of mushroom that looks like a morel in the spring, and that's a morel. So it's a very safe mushroom to look for. However, I must warn you, get a good book on mushrooms if you're going to collect mushrooms to eat, or go to a trusted website and read about them. Now with morels you're pretty safe because, like I said, there's really nothing that's going to kill you that looks like morel that comes up in the spring. There's something that comes up later in the summer that will make you very unhappy if you eat it. There are basically three types of morels that we look for in my area, which is the Mid-Atlantic. We have the white morels, the black morels, and something called cappies. Now when I have eaten cappies before or showed them on my videos, some people have freaked out and say that they will make you sick. And if you read about it, some sites do say that they can make you sick. However, I've always eaten cappies. All my friends have eaten cappies. In fact, we go on cappy hunts. So take that with a grain of salt either way, but read up on it. What we're probably going to find today, I hope, are mostly white morels. Now white morels come up a little bit later in the season, and they're typically much larger than the black morels. Black morels will come up when the leaves are first coming out on the trees, you know, maybe in, I guess the first part of April. This is first part of May already, but I know the whites are up because I saw one yesterday when I was mowing the grass, and I almost ran it over, but I didn't. And that's going to be the first mushroom of the day if the skunks didn't eat it last night. Let's go see if it's still there. A lot of people will ask me, you know, Aquachigger, where's the best place to find morels? Morels are like treasure in more ways than one. Not only are they delicious, but they can be anywhere. Some people swear that you find morels around cedar trees, which is where we're at right now. We're surrounded by cedars, and I have found morels here. However, others will swear that the best place to look for morels would be old apple orchards, and I found a ton of morels in old apple orchards. Some people say elm trees. Go around the old elm trees, and guess what? I found morels under elm trees. Same goes for poplar and all kinds of other trees. So, again, morels are like treasure. Treasure is where you find it. It can be anywhere, but you have to look to find it. This is the area where I was mowing the grass yesterday, and I saw a mushroom, and I want to know if you can see it. Can you see it down there? It's a great big white one. Well, it's not big. Well, it's good size, but it's not gigantic. But this is a morel mushroom. Kind of ugly, but boy are they delicious. Now when I'm going to pick this thing, what I'm going to do is just kind of squeeze off the base just like that. Okay, I'm going to leave this here and take the mushroom. Now the thing about mushrooms is that this is just the fruiting body, okay? The actual like giant mushroom organism is underground, and it could be spread out over acres. Not sure about the morel mushrooms, but other mushrooms they can. So some people will say to snip it off like that. Other people will say it doesn't matter, just rip it up by the roots. Because the actual organism, you know, the fungus is actually spread out underground, and it can be huge. It can cover acres for some types of mushrooms. So whether or not to, you know, just squeeze the base off like that, or just rip it out of the ground, I can't say for sure, but I will say this, I was taught to do it this way, so I'm going to continue to do it this way, because I can't imagine that it hurts the entire fungus that's underground. They say another good place to look for mushrooms are around old dead trees, and I have had pretty good luck there, and I suspect it's because of the roots and whatnot that are underground are rotting and creating a good environment for the fungus. So I saw this old dead tree here, and I came over to take a peek to see if there's any around here. Although I don't see any morels, I do see some other mushrooms, and I'm going to show them to you. So I see these other mushrooms right here, so that tells me that this is an area that mushrooms like to grow, but I don't know what these are, and we're not going to eat those. Again, this is just a fruiting body. It's just like a flower on a plant. The actual fungus itself is underground here, and it could cover this entire area. This whole area where we're looking right now could be alive, and this is just the tip of it right here that comes up in the spring or the summer, depending on what kind it is. Send out spores that will float off into the wind, and that's how they reproduce. Isn't that cool? I saw this animal hole right here, so I came over to take a look at it. just to see what was around. And there's some mushrooms growing in there. Look, not the kind we want to eat though. But you can tell something's been in and out here recently. See how this is all mushed down? The plants are mushed down right here. You can actually see a fresh track. It rained last night, so something came out of this hole, or was near this hole. Look at those. Now those mushrooms look like they're probably poisonous, so we're definitely not going to eat them. But let's pick one and take a look at it. Oh, the slimy too. Slimy feeling. I have no idea about what kind of mushroom this is, but we're definitely not going to eat it. Here's an old piece of metal of some kind. Don't know what that is. I guess we'll just leave it. Doesn't look too old. Maybe 100 years, no more than that though. The area that we're walking on right now is actually an old county road, and it's still considered a county right-of-way, although it's all grown up and been abandoned. It's right behind my house, but there's a neat little stream here where there was a ford. I'm going to show that to you, but there's also a bottle dump that I've never seen before that's at my feet. Look, you see this is where someone has dumped some trash, and apparently someone was digging it up, probably the neighbors, and they just left the broken glass on the surface, which is kind of sad. If I had dug this out, you can see where they dug it out here, I would have buried this stuff so that it wasn't sticking up like that for everything to get hurt on. I had a dog one time that cut itself on a bottle like that and almost bled to death in my arms. So I'm very careful about leaving glass sticking out like that. But yeah, this isn't a very old dump. You can see it's all screw top, so I don't think I'll come back to it. See these chunks of coal in it too. That's where the little bottle dump is right there. Oh, there's a giant mushroom. Let's go look at that. I didn't see that. There's a bunch of bottles in here. It might be worth looking around. I don't know. There's another type of mushroom that's growing around this dead tree. No idea what kind it is, but we're not going to eat this one either or even try. Kind of neat looking though. I like it. We want morels. Morels are delicious. Bottle dumps right there, and you can see how this was built up. There's a rock wall. Now this road was here well before the Civil War, but it's been abandoned. You can see how it's all built up. And I've never looked down here with a metal detector. Perhaps I'll do that one day. Pretty down here, isn't it? I thought we'd just walk along the stream for a little ways to see if we can find any mushrooms. See, these are big sycamore trees right here. They're at least 100 years old. I do have a spot on my property where there's a bunch of sycamores that I found a lot of mushrooms in the past. And we're going to check that spot before the day's out. But I just want to look around down here first since we're already here. This is probably the start of a sad story. If you look here, you can see there's little tufts of fur that go along through here. So something was attacking another animal, probably a rabbit. And you can notice how this grass is all mushed down. Look at all that, yeah. It's probably an owl or something caught something in here. Or a fox. There's an old den over here. I thought we might find the remains of the critter, but I don't see it just offhand. Carried it off, I suppose. This whole area back here has changed a lot since I was last here. It used to be very grown over with multiflora rose and other small bushes, but it's open now. Yeah, I should definitely bring the metal detector back here now. I've never seen it open like this before. So here's another mushroom here. I think this is probably just an old puffball by the looks of it. I thought it was a coffee filter when I first saw it. Yeah, I guess that's an old puffball. I'll show you them when they come in season. The reason I came over here is I noticed this blaze orange thing down here, which looks like a seat. Maybe a hunter was using it one time. I thought we'd take a look at it. Yeah, that's a polar seat. Looks like it's been out here for a while. I'll go ahead and grab it and take it out of here. Probably fell off somebody's belt when they were walking. Again, this is on the back part of my property, so I have no problem taking this away. I do let people hunt on my property. I don't do that myself anymore, but I understand that, you know, especially with deer, we have so many deer in this area that we do have to have some type of population control since we no longer have wolves in the area. Here's an old bone. It's obviously not a dead deer. It's a very big bone, probably a cow. You can see where it's been chewed on by some type of rodent and probably cracked open, but it's been cut. See that saw mark? That tells me that it was somebody's food. Somebody used this for, you know, some type of roast or something. We'll go ahead and leave that there. So far our mushroom hunt has not been very fruitful. We only have the one, but we're going to keep looking. I got a couple spots where I found them before, So we're going to work our way over to that area. I just thought it might be neat to look in here for a little while first. Do you see anything odd down there? I do. I see a turtle. It's an eastern box turtle. He's looking at us. I'll zoom in on him for you. And he's watching us. I don't think I've seen that one before. They say they only have a range of about 700 yards or so, which isn't very much. And I often see this very same turtles over and over again every year. Let's go take a closer look at him. Mud right here tells me he's been digging. This has been a busy turtle. What we're going to do is we're going to flip him over and look at his underside. You can tell if they're males or females, and I'm going to show you how. And if it's a female, that means she has been laying eggs nearby. But as we look at this turtle, I also notice, see how his shell is all bumped out right here? That tells me that this is an old wound. He was probably crushed by a cow or a horse or something back in the day, and it healed over. You know, we had one that we fixed up about 10 years ago that had been run over. I wonder if this is the same one. I'll have to look at the pictures because, you know, it'll look the same. I'm going to go ahead and turn him over. And I'm going to show you how to tell if there's a male or female. And I suspect it's going to be a female because of the mud. No, that's a male. Isn't that interesting? You can see how the shell is right here. It's got a divot in it. That means it's a male. And the divot is so that they can crawl up on the female's back when they mate. And that is where the female shell will ride right in here. And the male will be up on its back like that. So this is definitely a male. So I wonder if this is one of them that we rescued years ago. I'll have to look. We had a couple that had broken the carapace, and we had patched them over and then released them after a while. That could be one of them. This is part of the lower jawbone of a deer, right here. This has a little story to tell as well. Look at all the chew marks on it. That's where some rodent has been chewing the bone, either to sharpen its teeth or to get the calcium and other nutrients out of the bone. Aren't those weird looking teeth though? Yeah, that's a deer for sure. We'll put it back. The little mousey can have something to eat. Well, I'm not having a whole lot of luck on the mushroom front. I still only have that one, and I'm looking down here around some big trees where I found them before and I don't see any. But I do see some mayaples that I'll show you. In my area, or at least on my property, I found a lot of mushrooms when the mayaples are in bloom. As you can see, this one's in bloom. This will actually have a little round fruit that we call a mayapple. That is edible. You can make jams and jellies and stuff out of them. But this is the best time. I just lost that seed I was carrying. Now we know how the other guy lost it. I have to keep a better hold of this. But yeah, this is the perfect time for mushrooms here around my property where I found them before. You remember the Aquachigger seed of comfort? Looks so different this time of year, doesn't it? I come out here and sit sometimes. I think I made 1 or 2 videos here. Use that little flat rock and the moss for backrest. Really neat down here. I love this area. Ew, look at that. Is that disgusting or what? Oh, it's repulsive. Do you know what it is? I've told you in some other videos. This is rather disappointing. This is one of my best areas for mushrooms, and I don't see a one here this year. Might be early, but normally by the time the mayaples are in bloom, looks like another massacre site. It says bunny fur. Oh, poor little guy. You see all scattered around. I would imagine in the woods like this, it's probably an owl that got him. We have a lot of owls around here. And they love to eat baby rabbits. As it so often happens, I had actually given up on looking for mushrooms, and I was headed back to the house in disgust. Something weird up there. I gotta go check that out. But I thought I'd just check just a little bit longer as I was walking toward the path, and guess what? I see a mushroom. It's a morel. This is in an area where I found a lot of them in the past, and I'm really disappointed that we have... Oh, I see another one. I see 2. If you look right at the end of the stick, there's a big white morel there. Now morels usually grow in clusters. You very seldom will ever find one by themselves. So when you do find one, slow down and look close because there's usually more nearby. And I see another one right there at the end of the stick. Now it's kind of covered over with leaves, but that's how they hide. Let's go over and look at them. I'm not going to pick them just yet because we're going to go over where they're at and we're going to look around. See, I can't even see it now. Do you see it? Yeah, see, it's hiding right there. See? See, he's right there. He's a little bit chewed up. He's been out here a while. See, we could have gotten him a while ago. Probably should have, but we'll still eat him. So what we're going to do is just rest right here for a minute and we're going to look around. So I got the one at my knee. And there's one nice big fat one right there that he'll be delicious. And we'll look for more. Do you see any more in there? A lot of times it helps if you look up close to yourself instead of off in the distance. But I often see them off in the distance. In fact, I saw that one from about 20 feet. So disregard what I said previously. All right, we're not going to pick him yet. We're going to look around some more first. We'll see if we can see him from a different angle. And we might spot another one. Yeah, there's the one, and the other one's up there. So we'll look and see if we can spot one that might be hidden by some leaves. I only see two so far, but that would be unusual. Normally you can find a bunch of them. Alright, I'm going to turn the camera off, and we're going to keep looking a little bit longer. Okay, I only see the two, so let's go ahead and pick them. And always bring a bag with you. Because you can't put them in your pocket because they are very crumbly. This is a nice one. Again, I'm just going to pinch them off near the bottom. Now this entire mushroom is edible. Not only the top, but the bottom is too. It's all very delicious. And we're going to fry him up for breakfast tomorrow in some scrambled eggs. But before you fry him, what I recommend you do, and maybe I'll show you this, is I like to split them open and put them in a pan of water with a little bit of salt, and that will kill any bugs that might be up inside. Because sometimes when they're open like this, you'll get ants and even slugs that will get up on the inside there, and you don't want them in your frying pan in the morning because it's kind of gross. I'm gonna go ahead and pick this other one over here that is in pretty rough shape, and we might be able to salvage a little bit of him. I don't even see him anymore. Do you see him? Funny how that works. You just lose sight of them. They're so hard to see sometimes. Apple orchards, yeah, there he is. Yeah, this one's really old. I don't know if he'll be worth it or not. Now I'm gonna leave this one. See, he's pretty bad shape. I mean, that's edible, but it's a little bit unsightly, so we'll just go ahead and leave that one. I have a couple groves of bamboo like this on my property. It's kind of neat because it stays green all winter, which is nice when it's very drab. But this is spring, and look at the sprouts. You like bamboo sprouts to eat? Well, there's one for you. You can actually break these off and eat the inside. This one's probably a little bit too old, but if you look, there's a lot of smaller ones in here that are younger that would be tasty. Ooh, some more mushrooms. That looks like an ear. I bet this is something ear mushroom. Look at that. It does look like an ear. Isn't that weird? Yeah, if we look that up online, I bet it's like, you know, lamb's ear or baby's ear or something like that. All right, well, that's it for today. We only found a couple mushrooms, but I want to move on and get some other stuff done. And we might check again in another 3 or 4 days. It rained a lot last night, so some more might pop up later. Thanks for watching. That's what apple cedar rust looks like when it's on a tree. It's a little bit gone by. Isn't that hideous? Oh my gosh. That looks like Alien. Or the thing from Prey, yeah, Predator. That's what it looks like.